Some ancient teachings are a lot like treasure chests. On the surface, they look great, but the real gold is hidden deep inside, waiting for just the right key. Well, today, we're going to find that key. We're going to unlock a teaching about having a beautiful night. And trust me, it's about way more than just getting a good night's sleep. It all starts with this one line, written in an ancient language called Pali. Now, the standard translation is pretty straightforward. Don't chase the past. Simple enough, right? But what if chase isn't really the right word at all? What if the true meaning is way more subtle and way more connected to how our minds are working right at this very moment? To get to the bottom of it, we have to go back to the beginning, back to a pretty mysterious encounter in a forest late one night. Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story starts with a monk named Samiddhi. It's late, he's all by himself at a hot spring, just drying off in the cool night air. The whole forest around him is pitch black and totally silent. And then, boom, the entire grove just floods with this incredible light. A divine being, a deity, appears right in front of him. But it's not threatening at all. Instead, it seems to have this sense of urgency and one single, really important question.
So this being asks him, hey, do you understand the teaching on having a single beautiful night? And Samiddhi has to admit, nope, he doesn't. But here's the really wild part. The deity doesn't know the answer either. They're both kind of in the dark on this one.
But here's the one thing the deity does know. This teaching isn't just some nice little poem. It's the absolute foundation of the entire spiritual path. They tell Samiddhi, you have to go find the Buddha and learn this straight from the source. And just like that, the being vanishes, leaving Samiddhi with a mission. So you can bet what he does the next morning. He goes to find the one person who has the answer. So the next morning, Samiddhi finds the Buddha and tells him the whole crazy story. The Buddha's like, okay, I'll share it with you. And he recites this short but really powerful poem that holds the entire secret to this beautiful night. All right, so here it is, the standard translation. And it's beautiful, right? It's inspiring advice, be in the present, live for today. I mean, that's solid wisdom. But what the Buddha does next is what changes the whole game. After he recites the poem, the Buddha just gets up and leaves. That's it. No explanation, no Q&A, nothing. And his disciples are left there just scratching their heads. It sounds simple, but they've got this feeling there's something deeper going on. I mean, what does it really mean to chase the past? Is that just, remembering stuff? Their confusion leads them to one of the other enlightened disciples, Mahākaccāna, who is basically a master at unpacking the Buddha's most profound teachings. And this, right here, is where we finally get the key to that treasure chest. Mahākaccāna explains that to really get the poem, you can't just skim the surface. You have to put the original Pali words under a linguistic microscope. You have to look at their roots, their true intention. Let's just start with the title itself, Bhaddekaratta. The first translation is lovely, one beautiful night. Sounds peaceful, but the deeper linguistic dive shows it's actually an active state of being. It's not about a time of day, it's a quality of mind. It's the art of living with this singular, unattached focus. It's a skill. Now let's get back to that first line, don't chase the past. The word there is anvagamiti. Chase makes you think of running after something, right? An external action. But Mahākaccāna explains that the word's root actually means to go back along a path. It's totally internal. It means to mentally re-inhabit a past experience so completely that your awareness gets glued to it. It's not just remembering, it's full-on relive it. And this one is a huge deal. The poem says not to be swept away by the present. The Pali word is samhiriti, but swept away sounds almost poetic, kind of passive. The linguistic root is so much more violent. It literally means to be dragged along, to be carried off by force. So the deeper meaning is that your awareness is being actively hijacked and dragged all over the place by every single sight, sound, and thought that pops up. So, what happens when we plug these deeper, more intense definitions back into the poem? Well, the whole thing just transforms. It stops being this gentle, friendly advice and becomes a super precise psychological instruction manual. Let's look at just how different it becomes. So, you see the shift? The first translation sounds like you're running after something out there. But the real meaning is pointing to something we do inside our own heads, probably 100 times a day. Think of it like this. You can't actually chase a ghost. It's impossible. but rewatching old home movies in your head, feeling those same old emotions, getting totally lost in the same old story, man, we do that all the time. The teaching isn't about the chase. It's about learning how to stop pressing play. And we see this exact same shift with the future. Longing for it sounds pretty passive, like you're just wishing for something. But the real meaning describes a way more active and, honestly, a way more stressful mental habit. Wow, what a picture that paints, right? It's not just idle daydreaming. It's an act of mental grasping. Your mind is actively sending out these little tentacles, trying to pull some possible future into the present, and just getting all tangled up in the process. And this might be the biggest game changer of them all. We go from the gentle idea of being swept away to the urgent, almost alarming idea of being hijacked and dragged around. This completely reframes how we relate to the present moment. That pinball machine analogy is just perfect. It totally nails the chaos, doesn't it? We like to think of ourselves as this stable, single me. But this deeper analysis shows that for most of us, most of the time, our awareness is just ricocheting from one thing to the next. The goal then is to stop being the ball and become the player. Okay, so how do we become the player? This deeper understanding isn't just some cool linguistic trivia. It gives us a really clear, practical technique for actually training our minds. All right, here's the playbook. For the past, you see those home movies starting to play, but you just watch them without getting sucked into the drama. For the future, you notice those tentacles starting to reach out, but you don't let them grab on and pull you away. And for the present, you acknowledge all the sights and sounds, but you refuse to be the pinball. You don't let them hijack you. And this is so, so important. The skill isn't about turning into a robot who never thinks about the past or the future. It's about skillful engagement. It's about seeing it all, but seeing it from a place of stability, not a place of entanglement. It all comes down to right now and changing your relationship with whatever pops into your head. And just to bring the whole story full circle, when the disciples took Mahākaccāna's detailed breakdown back to the Buddha, he gave it his full endorsement. He basically said, yep, he's wise. I would have explained it in exactly the same way. This confirmed that this deeper, more psychological meaning we just unpacked, that was the whole point all along. So that leaves us with one final question. And this one's for you, right here, right now. As you're listening to my voice, as you're looking at this slide, as you feel whatever you're feeling, is your attention being mindfully led by you, or is it being hijacked? The ability to just know the difference in this very moment, that is the key to unlocking a beautiful night.